Hi everyone, I'm Stan. I'm here again with Lee Gray. Lee, welcome.
Hi Stan.
And we're talking about bespoke design in this episode. So how do designers need to think about designing that ultimate experience room? So Lee, what does it take to bring that to life?
Well, you can push the envelope pretty hard when it comes to a dedicated listening environment.
Yeah.
So there's two things that you can consider. There's soundproofing, and then there's acoustics of that space.
Right.
Soundproofing is a lot more expensive to do. It's quite difficult to do, and quite often it's just not necessary. It just depends on the environment. You know, if you're having a lot of noise come in, or if you intend to make a lot of noise, you know, to stop that noise coming out. But quite often we are just dealing with the acoustics within the space.
Yeah.
So we're doing a project in Queensland at the moment, which is a greenfields project, and we're throwing absolutely everything in that. So it's soundproofed, so it's a room within a room, so there's walls that are not touching the other walls.
Yeah.
We've designed, a customer uses the space for healing, so he wanted to be able to look definitely out into his beautiful garden and pool area that he has there. Now typically glass can be problematic, you know, because of all the reflections and the resonances in the room. So we actually designed him a bespoke triple glazed glass system, so none of those first reflection points actually, you know, hit the listener. So he can still have that soundproofing and also, you know, enjoy his view and then have the great acoustics.
So you've mentioned a whole lot of details about in that case study. Let's start with optimal room dimensions. When designers are thinking about creating that ultimate experience room, what are those optimal dimensions?
Well, if you consider the worst case scenario would be a ball inside a sphere.
Okay.
Reason being is you would have every distance the same and you would create one very large resonance. So the next worst would be a cube. So a good rule of thumb is to use what they call the golden ratio, which ensures that you're spreading out these room modes. So we have typically three room modes in a standard size room. You've got your floor to ceiling, you've got your walls, and then you've got your front to back. And you don't want all of those resonances being at the same frequency, otherwise it causes a mess. And it's like anything, you want to build a good foundation. So you need to fix the base, get the base energies, you know, fixed within the room first, because typically that will actually go through and mess up the rest of, say, your mid-ranges and your highs as well as. So the best way we can do that is by getting the dimensions, the ratios correct in the first place.
Fair enough. Okay, and then what comes next? What about the first reflection points that you mentioned? What is that all about?
So when we listen to a loudspeaker system, in an ideal world, you would get the sound from your speaker straight to your ear at the listening position.
Okay.
The reality is, it reflects off of all the different surfaces within the room. Now the ones that affect it the most are those first reflection points. And it's quite literally, if you could draw a line of sight from your speaker and that sound arriving to your ear, so it'll be bouncing off the first wall, bouncing off the ceiling, or bouncing off of the floor and then hitting your ear. Now the reason that's bad is because basically these act as another speaker, if you imagine, and then they're delayed just a little bit in time. So you'll hear that one, then you'll hear a bit of that one, and then that one. And what that does is it just smears the image. So, you know, it's like grabbing a brush and dragging it across a piece of artwork, and it just messes it up. So the more that we can control those, you know, first reflection points, the more we'll get the sound directly from the speaker.
Fair enough. How about future proofing? So designers go to the nth degree to design the most beautiful space possible, and they don't really want it messed up with maybe cables everywhere. So what do they need to think about for delivering that ultimate sound?
I guess you'd think about what the product is that you're investing in first. I mean, the great thing about audio is it's a technology that's been around forever. We keep changing in different formats and all that type of thing, but you know, we've had a revival in 100-year-old technology, which is vinyl. You know, CD, you can still pull a very good sound from CD. But if you've invested, you know, in quality speaker system and separate amplifiers, you know, you'll get many decades worth of enjoyment through that.
Yeah.
So rather than investing in, what we advocate is rather than investing in a whole heap of lots of things, like surround sound, bringing that down and distilling it down to less but quality items that are going to withstand the test of time. But to answer your question around cables, there has been a movement towards, obviously, wireless speakers and the like, but if you're going to push the fidelity to the ultimate, cables are still required, high quality copper cables, and then for things like streaming, Cat6 cable, obviously the more discreet you can make that, the better, through the floor,
etc.
Exactly.
Yeah, understand. Very good. Look, that's all that we sort of wanted to talk about in this episode. Next time around, we'll talk about what happens with a space where we're trying to retrofit and fix it up. Thanks so much for watching.